Today we're going to focus upon our legs, keeping healthy legs. Earlier this week we had the power yoga practice that also focused on the legs, and I thought, well, maybe it's a good thing to finish that with also a yin sequence for the legs and the hips, to give some space but a little bit more of the yin energy instead of yang. So see if you want to come and sit onto a pillow this evening, making sure you have blocks or books next to you to use later in the poses. And from there you can bring the shoulders up, rolling them back down. Slowly bring the shoulder blades a little bit more towards each other. And see if you can lengthen the spine a little bit more, but keeping those shoulders soft. Bring them further down towards the ground with every single exhalation. And starting the practice here today by bringing the focus towards your legs. Maybe starting the hips. And from there slowly walking your focus down through your legs towards the knees. From the knees, through the calves, shins, all the way down towards the ankles. And see if you can allow yourself to let those knees sink into the ground a little bit more with every single exhalation. If you're sitting on top of something, see if you can notice how those sitting bones are going further down into the pillow. Or if you chose to start in a seated position on the ground on your mat, noticing how those sitting bones are pushing down even more into the mat. Shoulders are relaxed, they're just hanging there. At the same time, we keep our back straight. So we are in that perfect line. All those parts of our spine that are aligned here, gravity that is pulling on our body, but it doesn't take any effort to keep the back straight because it's beautifully aligned. Bringing your focus towards your breath. And noticing the rhythm of your breath at this moment. And from there, maybe placing the back of the hands onto your legs. Bringing your focus all the way towards your left hand. And then on an inhalation, visualizing that you bring air and breath from your left hand towards your left nostril. Now on your exhale, you bring that stream of air from your right nostril towards your right hand. On that inhalation, visualizing that line of air, of breath from your right hand towards your right nostril. And on your exhalation, they need to go out of your left nostril towards the left hand. Continuing your visualization here. And that stream of air is totally free to move in whatever direction you visualize it to be between the hand and nostrils. Shifting the focus from left to right and from right to left. A way of breathing that also helps our focus, our concentration to come fully back to the here and now. Your next exhalation, bringing your chin towards your chest. And then from here, setting an intention for yourself. Ending that visualization with the breath. Just continuing breathing in your own breathing tempo, maybe placing your hands on your belly while doing so. What is your intention for your yin practice here this evening? And from there, on an exhalation, slowly removing the pillow from underneath you if you were sitting on top of one. And then from there, slowly bring the soles of the feet against each other. And then from there, I leave the option to you if you want to keep the feet a little bit closer or if you want to move the feet a little bit more to the front for more of a diamond shape. We're going to go for a forward fold in butterfly. So from here, first option is just to drop your head, drop the arms. From there you can see maybe with a pillow or with blocks, placing it on top of the feet or maybe in between here and just leaning on top of it, dropping your head. Or maybe from there, see if you want to make your way further down. Leaving it completely up to you where you can let go a little bit more. Bring your focus towards your hips, towards the legs. And although this is the focus of our class here today, maybe you notice that today you don't feel this pose as much in the hips or the legs. Maybe more in the lower back, the shoulders or the neck. If so, taking 5 more deep breaths here to let go in that area of your body even more. And slowly in your next inhalation, bringing your head back up. Slowly coming all the way back up. Maybe stretching your arms out, moving those wrists around, stretching out the legs. And maybe moving a little bit from one side to the other side. Just following Rufus on the couch here with that stretching out here. Do you notice that you're ready for our next pose, for which we come onto hands and knees. And then from there you curl your toes. We're gonna go for toe squat. And then there are actually 3 options in toe squat. First option, first of all, making sure that every single toe is participating here. And then from there, your first option is to bring your head down, coming onto the elbows. Second option is to move your weight a little bit more back, maybe keeping your hands in the ground. Third option, you can use a meditation pillow, but also just any pillow that you have laying around, placing it in between your butt and your knees. Come and sit on top of it. Or if you want to go all the way here and see if you want to sit onto the heels. And from there, closing your eyes. Maybe you want to keep your hands onto your legs, or maybe you notice you want to place the hands onto the belly. Noticing how your breath is going in and out of your body. Balanced but natural breath. Taking 5 more deep breaths in toe squat. And slowly placing your hands down, removing those toes, enjoying that sensation that is going through the feet right now. Maybe softly pressing your feet down in the ground one at a time, or maybe you want to just move the feet a little bit, slapping them softly on the ground. Making some circles with the ankles. Now from there we come and lay down all the way onto the belly. And placing the arms next to you or underneath your forehead, bending your knees, and then using some of those windshield wipers to bring the legs from side to side, a little bit of movement as well for your back. Also having a little moment to let those feet relax. So our feet are actually, or the toes I have to say, are actually a part of our body where a lot of lower body meridians end or begin. So stimulating them through the toe squat is actually stimulating all 6 lower body meridians. Kidney meridian, urinary bladder meridian, the stomach and the spleen meridians, and also the gallbladder and the liver meridian. From here, slowly bringing those legs down, closing your eyes for a moment. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. And from here, you're going to bend your left leg, and then you can place your right hand underneath your forehead if you want to, and then you're gonna grab your left foot, just letting the shoulder drop next to you, holding on to your knee here, and then see if you can keep your knee as much as possible in one line with your hip. If you notice that it's hard to reach for your foot, you can always use a blanket, a yoga strap, or a towel. Bring it around your ankle and then hold on to the strap or the towel. Having a soft stretch for the front side of our leg here, making sure you can relax your left shoulder while holding on to the foot. Next exhalation, slowly releasing the left leg, bringing your left hand underneath your forehead, bending your right leg, reaching back for the right leg. You can always use a towel or a yoga strap again. Dropping the right shoulder down so you can relax it. And a soft stretch for the right leg as well. Slowly in your next exhalation, letting that right leg go. Bring the arms next to your body. And closing your eyes for a moment, noticing how the legs are doing. And from here, placing your hands underneath your shoulders, slowly moving yourself up to all fours, and from there to downward facing dog. Slowly moving a bit from side to side. And from there, we're going to bring the right knee all the way towards the right wrist. Left leg goes back a little bit more. Right foot towards the left wrist. We're not going to move our leg all the way to the front. It just depends on how your body is shaped. Now, two options here. One option is to maybe use blocks. You can also just place the hands down, but in my case, my arms are a bit short, so I prefer to use blocks here. Bringing your hands on the ground or blocks, coming for swan, but keep it soft. So we're not going to activate the legs, we're going to relax here. You can always drop the head down. If you feel like, well, no, this doesn't feel like my option today, you can always place blocks or books in front of you, placing your arms on top, dropping your head here, or from there see if you want to make your way further down towards the mat, or in the end maybe see if you want to lie down completely. But make sure you don't drop all the way to the left and you don't drop all the way to the right side. So we're staying in the middle with our hips. And taking a couple of deep breaths here to sink into swan pose.
Taking 5 more deep breaths here.
And from there, slowly moving yourself back up, slowly maybe moving first a little bit to the front so you can move those legs back, coming back in all fours or moving back and up for downward dog. And from there, moving those knees one by one, or if you go for all fours, maybe slowly moving yourself from side to side, a little bit of movement in the hips as well. And then from there, if you are on all fours, making your way back to downward dog. And then from there, bringing your left knee towards your left hand, bringing your right leg back, placing your foot down into the ground. And then from there, same option applies. So maybe you want to grab your blocks or do it without blocks, placing those hands next to your leg here for upward gazing swan. Maybe dropping your head or going for sleeping swan, either on the elbows, maybe with blocks underneath or without, or moving all the way down for sleeping swan here. And on this side, same thing applies with the hips, so we keep them in the middle. We're not dropping to the left, we're not dropping all the way to the right.
Deep breaths here. You can breathe yourself into swan. 5 more deep breaths on this side. And then slowly moving back there onto all fours. Or maybe back to down dog. See where you can find that space for the hips, for the legs to move right now. And then from there we curl the toes into the ground, slowly bringing our butt back and up. And then bringing your hands all the way towards the feet. And then from there, grabbing your elbow, or the elbows actually, and then just dropping your head down for dangling. Maybe slowly moving from side to side here. Maybe you also want to grab the arms the other way around. We always tend to have one side that we prefer. We're not going to stay here really long, so whenever you're ready, slowly bending your knees, walking yourself back to all fours. And from there, moving yourself back onto your back. And then see if you maybe want to place the feet a little bit wider than dropping them from side to side for the windshield wipers. And then from there, stretching your left leg out, bringing your right knee towards you, and then slowly guide your right knee over to the left side, keeping your shoulder blades in the ground. You have the option of maybe stretching out the right leg, or grabbing a pillow or a block or something else that can support you for underneath the knee. You can also just let it hang here. Most important thing is that the shoulder blades stay in the ground. You can place the back of your head in the ground, or maybe turning your head around, looking in the opposite direction of your knees. A little twist to also stretch out the side of the leg, also to give some attention to the belly, the outside of the hips as well. Taking 5 more deep breaths here. And then slowly moving your knees back in the middle, all the way towards your chest, little circles here. Also the other way around. And then from there, slowly placing that right leg down, and from there, moving your left knee over to the side. Always see if you have space to stretch the leg out, and see if you want to keep the back of your head in the ground, or maybe look in the opposite direction of your knee, shoulder blades staying in the ground. You can always support your knee with a pillow or a block or something else that is steady enough to place your knee upon. Reconnecting with the natural breath again. Releasing the hips outside of the leg, belly in the back. 5 more deep breaths on this side. And then from there, slowly moving back in the middle. Knees all the way towards your chest and making those circles again. We're going to do one more pose before going for Shavasana. And for this one, you can use a block or a pillow. If you use a pillow like this, you can always fold it in half, use it like that. Otherwise, a block is perfect to use as well, or a meditation pillow. We're gonna bring the feet down into the mat, placing our pillow or the block underneath your butt. If you're using a block, make sure that it's roughly in one line with your hip bones, meaning that if you are touching your hip bones here on the front side and you're following that line back, that you end up there where the block is. If you use a pillow, which is a little bit bigger, make sure that half of it is underneath the butt and the other half is supporting the lower back. So the block we don't want to put all the way down so it's hurting in the tailbone. We don't want to place it in the lower back, but in between for the pillow, half underneath the butt, other half underneath the lower back. And from there you can choose if you want to keep the feet in the ground, or today, if it maybe feels nice, to stretch out the legs for that full stretch here on the front side of the body. Place your hands on your belly or next to your body. Final pose before we go for the final relaxation. In 3 more deep breaths here. And slowly bring the feet back into the ground if they're not already there. And from there, lifting your butt, removing your pillow, your block, slowly moving everything down. Maybe taking a moment to use those windshield wipers before stretching out the legs for Shavasana. If you notice that the lower back is a little bit sensitive, you can always place the feet down in the ground and drop the knees towards each other. Otherwise, you can just stretch them out here, bring those arms next to your body, shoulder blades a little bit more towards each other. And then taking those deep breaths in, full deep breaths out. Letting yourself sink into the ground. Maybe taking a moment to think back to that intention that you have set for this practice. And surrendering yourself to your mat, enjoying the closing part of your yin sequence here today. Bring some movement back into your body. See in what way you want to move. To wake up that body again. And whenever you feel ready, taking your time to make your way back up to a seated position. Now when you're ready, bring in the hands in front of your heart. Thank you so much for joining the yin today. Namaste.